welcome back to a new edition of Rich T Racing. When I say new edition, I actually mean that. This is a brand new style of video, motivated by my desire to still be able to pump out the content that I enjoy doing, i.e. the tea brief that you know me for, and also the type of content that I think generally does attract views and makes this channel popular for what it ultimately is all about, which is karting. And that's obviously the karting commentary videos that you will have known me for over the past however many years I'm doing. I think I've been doing this now for 6 years. I've been commentating on karting videos. At one point last year, I did think about retiring from that entirely due to the effort that it does take, particularly on a 2015 Mac. But what I've basically decided to do is we're going to combine the two together. So you get the way that I talk about racing, but actually able to go in depth about it, as we see in the tea brief, and also get to bring you the content itself. So there will actually finally be karting content involved with the tea brief. So a blend of the two. I'm yet to work on an actual day. I think it can still be classified as a tea brief, because I will be going very in depth into the stuff that you see on the screen in just a short moment. But so sorry for the slightly long-winded introduction, but as this is a new video in a new series, probably best to make sure that there is a bit of explanation going on there. When I get this more stuff out through the year, consider this part will be significantly shorter. But with all that said and done, let's now have a look at my SP60 race at Buckmore Park. Right, so here we go then, ladies and gentlemen, brand new edition of Rich T Racing. I have no idea exactly technically how this is going to come out. I've spent the past 5 minutes, or actually no, way longer than that, trying to get this sorted. Bear with me, basically, with these. I will try and get it more refined as time goes on. But we're going to kick things off. We're just going to power through at this stage. We're going to kick things off with my fastest qualifying lap here at Buckmore Park. So we'll just get everything underway then. So coming into Garda, get a nice wide exit out of there so you can power up the straight. I think this is my penultimate lap of the session. Come through Cafe, cutting the curb nicely and cut the line now to start my, what would turn out to be my fastest lap. And I'm very surprised by the fact it's my fastest lap, because that chap had just overtaken me. So in my head, the lap's already gone, but I'm going to press on no matter what. So braking nicely into hairpin 1, now coming into hairpin 2. New bit of tarmac down there as well, so you can use that to get a bit of grip from there. In fact, I think that was there for the round in November. So we'll just crack on with it at the moment. But yeah, nice and smooth through here. You can see this is an exceptionally smooth lap, brilliant through paddock, if I do say so myself. Now into Garda, get a nice bit of braking in there, and we're going to make our way up through the flat out Cafe curve. Cut the, as I said at the start, cut the curb there, and we cut to line to set what I believe was a 46.8. So yeah, so here you go. You can see me there in 14th place, setting a 46.8. Quite a bit off the pace of Anwar in on pole. I think a really good lap for me here at Buckmore is like, I'm definitely not 7/10 off the pace. I'm more like 5 or 4/10 off the ultimate pace. So definitely room for improvement was available here on this particular occasion. But we're going to jump now into race number 1 as we get ready for the start of this race. If you hear my laptops begin to start whirring away, I'm sure it's just it's an old thing, and it's probably doesn't have a clue what's happening at the moment. But you can see here we're on the left hand side of the grid. We've given ourselves quite a bit of space there, but the lights go green. We're going to get stuck behind Lucid Initiatives, giving him a hell of a bump, and there's contact immediately there. Tim Penny taking out Ryan Sandel. We lost Lucid Initiatives. There goes Steve down the inside of the chap who was overtaking us. We're going to try and follow him down the inside as well. We're just losing out to Penny there too, as we're taking a wide line through hairpin 2, but the race has immediately been false started. So we get the green flag with the yellow chevron. I'll just take it back there to have a look at this particular incident. So obviously you can see here we're still warming our tyres up. We're giving ourselves a bit, again, as I said, a bit of extra space to get the start going, but we do actually get a pretty decent launch. Now if I just pause it here, see, so I'm right up the back of Lucid. In fact, I probably should know this guy's name. Who is it? Clive Morfitt, that was the guy starting directly in front of me. So yeah, so Clive here, I give him a fair bit of a whack, but as you can see here, it's actually Tim Penny who has given, I think that's Dan Taylor, a big old whack. You can see his head going backwards into the stratosphere, and then just there, Tim getting himself all out of sorts, smashing into Ryan, and Ryan goes round. Tim even puts his arm up there. I don't think you've got a leg to stand on there, Tim, my friend. So yeah, have to get on with that one. So the race was full started. Okay, so here we go then, ready for the second start. This time we are right on Clive's arse now, and he does get a bit of away from us as we head into the first corner, giving Clive a bit of a whack through there, but it looks like it's all gone quite well. There goes the chap who overtook us in qualifying. It all gets a bit squirrely there, trying to hang it around the outside this time. So now we have the inside for hairpin 2, and we're going to go down the inside and hopefully get the position on the chap who was overtaking us in qualifying. But no, he's got very decent driving. In fact, there go the very recognisable boots of Steve Lindley, saying we've actually lost 2 positions at this start, down into P16 as we head now into Garden. Steve going ultra aggressive into paddock, and that allows us now to go down the inside of the chap who was overtaking us through qualifying. We'll now just settle in behind Steve. Hopefully we can get onto the back of him as we head up through Cafe and cut the line to end the first lap. I think we're down into 15th at this stage. Oh, we've just run it a bit wide there. Not sure what happened. I don't know if that was me outbraking myself or getting a bit of a tap. Couldn't quite see with the camera angle. You can see as well, we have definitely lost a bit of ground to the guys in front already. This is a bit of a theme, really, for me. And the opening couple of laps of a race, I definitely do take my time to warm up. I'm like a 2018 version of Valtteri Bottas. Just can't quite get it sorted on the opening couple of laps, but the main thing is I do come on stronger as the race goes on. So if I can just keep these guys in sight, we will eventually get onto the back of them. But at the moment, everything's going quite well. Obviously, my main focus at the moment is making sure Carolis doesn't get anywhere near me. Carolis, the other super heavyweight, the chap who I noticed pre-season was like, oh, he was quite good last year in the heavyweights, so I best keep an eye out for him. Because he actually beat me overall in the championship, so I was very keen to see how this battle was going to go. Depending on how it went, that might have affected my decision to carry on in the SHWs or go down into the HWs. But you can see there, Steve just getting a decent little overtake on Clive there, so that is going to naturally bring us further into contention. If Steve keeps going the way he's going, sends them all back towards me, we will end up in the thick of it with this race. But just staying nice and calm at the moment. There's a penalty there for someone, not sure what that was. But yeah, hang on, that's Matt Horgan, who I think has gone very far out. Oh, there, Matt and Steve getting right into contention with each other, locking of the front and rear. Now we came so close to getting them there, but you just see, just wasn't quite able to. Matt and Steve still banging wheels. I'm now basically going into the pit lane. It's absolute carnage here on the opening couple of laps here. Matt just about able to keep it going, and Steve also now getting back past me. That was exciting, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you were actually able to see that. I don't know if the placement of my silly face missed it, but yeah, Steve going for something with Matt. They locked front and rear axles, and I was so close. I was so close to getting them. In fact, let me just see. Just over there, you can see Matt's way wide compared to where he should be. Steve's obviously gone down the inside. Clive's getting involved as well. Tim Penny's going defensive, and I think Matt's tried turning in, or Steve's got himself out of sorts. I'm not sure entirely what's happened, but they just go through there. And at this point, I'm thinking, right, this is going to be 2 positions for me. But just as we come through here, you can see Steve's got onto the power in the best way he possibly could. And it's just not quite enough. He's just on the inside as I arrive on the scene. That allows him to have the inside line for hairpin number 2. And that also allows Matt to get the position back as well. But it's this bit that's absolute chaos, really, as Matt barges Steve out of the way as well. I'm ended up in the pit entry. Steve's on the inside still, and that allows him to get the position back on me. So very close to gaining the positions that we wanted to gain, but not quite on this occasion. So we're just going to keep plugging away. But then that just demonstrates my point. Like, just, you might be a bit slower at the start. It takes that sort of incident to maybe get yourself back into contention, and I think from here I did definitely get my head down more. Okay, so coming down into hairpin 1 there, you can see that is the distinctive gold helmet of Tim Hill getting a bit out of sorts, and there goes Steve Lindley. Fantastic move, it has to be said, on both Clive and Tim, but as you see here, they are free abreast into the first part of the S's. We nearly end up in the pit entry again. It's Clive who's benefited most from that. He was able to get through past Steve and Tim as well. Tim falling down 2 positions, and now Steve, although there he goes down the inside of Clive, and I've gone down the inside of Tim as well. Very good move there from myself, but I do have to keep an eye out on Tim, because he's not the type of person to just accept being overtaken. As we come now into turn 1, there goes Tim down the inside. So Timothy getting himself back into where he originally was, but Steve getting the move done, getting it sorted. I unfortunately was not able to. Just wondering, I think at this stage I'm just twigging that my kart might not quite have the top end of the other guys, because it really realistically shouldn't be overtaken like that into turn 1. I could have defended, of course, but it's not really in my nature to go overly defensive. I don't think there's a need to. Maybe that's something I need to focus on going forward. Just if there's an opportunity to defend, maybe give it defense. One thing I definitely don't do enough of is look behind me. In my head, that gives the guy behind a psychological advantage, because he now knows, or she knows, that all I'm thinking about is where they are, so I'm likely to make a mistake. But obviously, had I looked behind me, I'd have seen that Tim was very close to me, and I should have gone defensive there, and maybe I could have held on to the position. That's just something that we have to learn from in these instances. As I was just saying, very close and clean racing here, but it looks like Steve just get a little bit out of sorts. No, he didn't actually. Tim's gone for something wholly audacious there on Clive. We try to hang it around the outside. We're going off the track, and Tim does get back past us. It was so close there to being able to get past him, but we just didn't quite manage it. Running a bit wide there, it must be said, through turn 2, and we did actually have to go a bit defensive. I think we've got some people right on our trumpet, still keeping an eye out for Carolis, making sure that he's not anywhere near to us. But yeah, it's so close here between myself, Tim, Clive and Steve. Actually, through that, Steve has actually managed to break away a little bit from this pack, so we're going to have to, if we have any hope of catching up to Steve, we are going to have to work together, not do anything rash. I think is the polite way I can put it there. But to be fair, if the move's on, might as well go for it. I probably should have given up the move there, but yeah, I mean that would involve lifting on a straight. Oh my word! We have won. Wow. Well, that was crap. And now we're about to be overtaken. Who's this? We're about to be overtaken by? I'm not entirely sure. Might be Ian Perkins. I think I'll get the name right. I don't really know what's happened. So I'm coming through turn 1, right? Everything's fine there. I think... absolutely no idea, folks. Absolutely no idea what happened to me on that one. But yeah, there goes... I'm going to say it's Ian. If it's not, sorry. But yeah, I think either I just tried to take too much speed, or the kart or I just had a massive bout of understeer. But yeah, that's cost us massively. We've now lost out on quite a bit of time to Tim and Clive, and that is, as we just saw, has put us at vulnerable to the people behind. And as I was talking about a little bit earlier, I started to think maybe my kart's a bit slow. You just see how much Ian was actually like. I think at that point I did just look to my right and saw Ian driving past me. I thought, hang on, what? That should not be happening. Yeah, I think it became apparent that my kart, whilst fine and accelerated, it was by no means a bad kart. It just obviously didn't quite have the top end of the otherwise guys that I was racing. And I've just been bumped through Siamese sweep. So someone's getting, obviously something's, it's now becoming apparent something's not quite right, and it looks like we're about to be lunged. Yes, there goes Kyle Walker. So once again, we're going to try and hang it round the outside. And to be fair, this is much better than I had originally thought it was. I didn't go off anywhere near off the track, but I've gone massively off the track there. Now having the inside line for turn one, and I think there goes Kyle spinning round. Controversy here. We've got a panic at the disco. Everything's gone wrong after that random bit of massive understeer that I've had. You can see how much I've now lost out to Tim, and we have now seen Kyle go spinning round. So let's now take that back again. I think this might be quite a long video. Sorry about that. So let's take it back from here then. So coming into Siamese, you can see that I've been tapped. I should not be pointing here at this point. Massively missed the apex. So someone's tried to go down the inside into Siamese. I can only assume that's Kyle. Everything's normal through here. Then here goes Kyle, then down the inside into Garda. He's slightly overcooked it. I'm able to hang it around the outside. Kyle's got the inside for Cafe here. We're running side by side through the corner. At this point, obviously now, obviously I have gone completely off the track here. I am literally not on the track. I'm completely over there. I probably should have given it up at this stage, but again, as I was sort of saying with Tim, this would involve lifting off for on the straight, which I don't particularly want to do that. Because you will just be absolutely swamped. There's obviously something wrong with the kart. It hasn't got the top end that would be wanted, so I'm not lifting off. But obviously I have gone massively off the track. That does then give me the inside line for turn one, so I've got the defensive line. And I think at this stage, I think the actual incident that sees Kyle head out of contention of the race, I think is either not known that I'm there and turned in too aggressively, or he just hasn't anticipated the fact that I'll still be there, thinking that I've gone off the track and obviously I wouldn't be there had I not gone off the track. So in terms of the actual incident itself that's led to Kyle going off, I didn't get a penalty for it, and I maintain to this day that I didn't deserve a penalty for it. I definitely went off the track, but the incident itself, I think Kyle's gone a bit too aggressive there coming into the corner for me. So yeah, that's what I've got to say about that. I would live to fight another day. Kyle sadly would not. We haven't spoken after that incident, so it'd be interesting to see his perspective on that. Kyle, if you're watching, apologies for my part in that incident, but yeah, there we go. These things unfortunately do happen in racing. And sadly, the final bit of footage I have for this race is this bit coming in here, where I think that is, yeah, it's Ian overtaking me. Somebody else is trying to get me as well, but I'm taking a nice defensive line into hairpin 2. Secret special signal say, come on, let's work together. But unfortunately, I don't know what's happening to my GoPro at the moment. I think it might. I think the old girl it's a Hero 8. It's 3 years old, close to the barriers there. Or sorry, the track furniture, and just been overtaken. So I'm on the other end of it now at this point. There's still some action going on here, but yeah, I think the GoPro's either the GoPro is a bit old now and it's just not quite working as it did previously, or it's the batteries that are losing it a bit as we more understeer through turn 2. But yeah, just not quite working out. This is the end of the footage, really. There's not much more to report on. So I'm going to call it there for race number 1. I know I've probably gone on way longer than originally anticipated, and we still have another race to go through. But I will just... Oh, my silly face getting in the way. Hang on. So I'll show you the results here. So yeah, what would ultimately happen is I've come home in 16th place, so down 2 positions, and Carolis up 6, so 23rd to 17th. I do remember looking back and seeing him there, and having raced Carolis quite a few times last year, realising that actually he is a damn good driver and one not to be trifled with. Obviously, he beat me overall, so I was not surprised, but also a bit surprised to see him make the progress that he did. So yeah, the super heavyweight victory, definitely not a guarantee here. But the thing that I had going for me was that definitely felt my kart had some problems with it in that last one. Let's move on from that then. Right, I think this start does not restart, so we're all good to get going then. Right on Ian's arse, and here we go then for the start of this race, looking to get a much better race this time. Ian immediately jumping to the inside, he had the line there, and we're going doing something a little bit different this time, going to the extreme outside, and it's actually ended up paying dividends. And I don't know if you just saw it there, but massive controversy at the start of this race. No idea what that is flying through the air. What the hell's that? That bit of tyre? Don't know, but it came very close to it. Anyway, you might just see a spinner there, and there's the very distinctive helmet of Senor Anwar Beryl Smith. Won the first race, and he got taken out by his endurance buddy and seemingly championship rival for the year, Dickie Allen. Absolute controversy. There he is. He's got his hand up thinking, oh my God, what's happened here? Dickie did tell me, he described to me what happened. I think he got tapped, and that tapped him into Anwar. Obviously, this all very exciting for the people that do find themselves further up the grid as well. Maybe an opportunity to get a rare race win off from Anwar. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, this obviously also benefits us massively. We got past Ian. We've overtaken two people in the form of Anwar and Dickie. And now it's going to get into absolute chaos here. Steve, Andrew, Ryan getting involved. But there was a bit of rain. And bit of explanation. It had started raining just at the start of this race. I'd gone to the outside to try and get round these three guys here to go something exceptionally audacious, but as you quite clearly see, it doesn't quite work. I lose out grip entirely, end up completely off the track in a very similar theme, and there goes Carolis. So Carolis got a very good start as well. He's now in the lead of the SHW, and as you saw, I came 16th, he came 17th, Ian's passed me as well. I've had to go do a bit of track limits there, and so if Carolis beats me, that's it. That's the SHW victory gone. My desire for this was that I would win today and I'd be able to round off 20 SP60 SHW races with a victory. But at the moment, that is not happening. There are two karts between myself and Carolis at this stage. As you can see on the camera as well, the rain has started to come down. It's not fully dry condition, so we're going to have to keep an eye on how this goes. Definitely not a wet line yet. I don't think the rain would actually, this is the heaviest it would get. You can see Ian getting a little bit squirrely there, lifting off into Siamese, and we're miles off from the apex of the corner. We'll just follow this for the moment. You can see a bit of carnage going on up top. And Ian sliding about. And yeah, if you just see up front as well, there's an awful lot of carnage going on. So there we go, the red and yellow flag, slippery surface, take care, basically is what that flag means. If you're new to racing, you're not sure what the flags mean, but you can see here Carolis and Andrew having a bit of a to-do. Andrew going to the outside line on Carolis there, and I think he's got the move done. We'll just wait to see that coming now through the S's. And yes, Andrew with a very good move round the outside of hairpin 2. That when the rain comes down, that is where the grip is in on this track. So Andrew making the most of that whilst the rain is currently having an effect. It's like Ryan and Steve having themselves a bit of to do as well. Has Ryan got the move done? No, Steve has managed to hang on to it, but this is all playing in very nicely for us, getting us closer to Carolis, where it otherwise looked like he was moving away at the very start of this race. Ian having a little look at Carolis as well. We bump Ian up the bum, heading into turn 1, and it's getting all very tight here. Looks like Steve has now been overtaken by Ryan, and Andrew has done to Steve what he did to Carolis, and Ian's gone down past Carolis. I've gone down the inside of Carolis as well. Is that the move settled? I think it might be, yes. There we go. We now take the first place for the SHWs back. but it is by no means guaranteed at this stage, ladies and gentlemen. We've still got a lot of racing to do. Carroll is definitely looking nice and racy, as demonstrated by the start of this race. Now, heading up through Cafe once again. I think Steve might have a slightly underperforming kart compared to race 1, because he was on fire on race 1, it must be said, but definitely at the start, certainly at the start of this race, not looking as the aggressive, fast-moving forward driver he was in race 1. I have no idea the words that just came out of my mouth there, but yeah, just settling down at this stage then. So we will, and I think Ian's going to be lining up a move on Steve. Is he maybe on this stage? No, not quite. So actually he is getting very close here. Am I going to have an opportunity down the inside of hairpin 1? No, not quite. GoPro rattling about a bit. This has been a problem start of this season. GoPro's rattling more on nose cones than they otherwise would be, but we had a look around the outside of Ian through hairpin 2. It looks like the grip might have returned. We are still lifting through the Siamese sweep, but I think this demonstrates that we might actually have quite a decent kart under us here, taking a nice line through paddock. And are we going to go down the inside of Ian into Garda? Yes, we are. Nice move there from myself, if I do say so myself. That all came about through the Siamese sweep. We kept on the inside through Pullman's and paddock, and then got the move done into Garda. Well, probably my favourite move through on this track. You can see actually the conditions are improving, the blue sky is appearing and the visibility is getting better. So the cloudy conditions and rain of the start. Oh, actually no, we've just been overtaken by Anwar Beryl Smith. Now I'm going to do a bit. I don't do this too often, but I am going to heap a hell of amount of praise onto this man here, Mr. Anwar. He would actually go on to win this race by 8 seconds. Put that into context, he was pointing the wrong way at hairpin 1, the first braking zone of this track. So it must just be a combination of a damn good kart and also a bloody good driver as well. You can see here he's just gone down the inside of Steve having a little look, and wisely so, Steve backing out of it. But to be pointing the wrong way at hairpin 1 and then win the race by 8 seconds, I think I'm going to call that as perhaps the best performance in an SP60 race I've ever seen. One of the best performances I've ever seen in karting, full stop. I think that's when they announced him as the winner, I just thought, come again? How's he done that? So well done, Anwar. Bloody good job, mate. Best of luck for the rest of the season. But yeah, we're now focused back on fighting an old rival of ours, really. Great chap, love him to bits, Mr. Steve Lindley, or John, as I affectionately call him as well. His kart obviously not quite performing as it would do. He'd normally should be moving a lot further forward than he otherwise would be, but we've definitely got a chance then to get past him. Brothers in boots, as you can quite clearly see. Where are we going to get him? I think he's a very aggressive driver, one that we do have to keep an eye on, but it just looks like we have got more pace on him through here. We get a nice line through Pullman's and paddock. He goes defensive, so the move was definitely on, and I was definitely looking for it, but nothing so far. But he is now going to be compromised, heading up through Cafe and then into turn 1. Our car definitely performing better than it was in race number 1 here, and it looks like, have we got the inside down into hairpin 1? Yes, we have. We get the move done. We're going to have to go defensive into hairpin 2, and this will compromise us for the rest of the lap until we get, and basically from this point, as far as I'm concerned, until we get past Garda, Steve still is firmly on my mind for someone who's going to overtake me, although admittedly normally he does like a move into paddock. Are we going to get through Garda? No, we're not, because there goes Dickie Allen. So as I've got past Steve, Dickie's obviously got past Steve as well, and now Dickie's done to me what Anwar did a couple of corners ago. We're going defensive into turn 1, so that must mean that Steve right on our trumpet heading into there. But Heap praise on to Anwar. I'll heap praise on to Dicky as well. Obviously, my main super heavyweight contender in 2021. He won 6 races. Who's also overtaking us? Oh, there is the green and black boots of Mr. Lindley. We've actually hung it out lovely around the outside of the first S of the S's, and then keep the inside for the second. So the battle with Steve firmly still on, as Steve, and that's what I was waiting for. Steve with a move down the inside into paddock. I have to take track limits for avoiding the cones, which I'd always much rather take a track limits than a cone penalty. But oh, my dog, sorry. Right, sorry folks, my dog just went mad as my parents got home. But yeah, I think, what was I saying? Yeah, so I was expecting a move from Steve down the inside into paddock. He's done that to me quite a few times, but we were able to fight through it. We did take track limits through there, but ultimately I don't think it would come back to bite us for the rest of the race. But yeah, as I was saying before, we had that little battle with Steve. Heap praise on to Anwar. I'll heap praise on to Dicky as well. I think he came home 4th in the end. I do believe he took a penalty in this race as well. I can actually just check that. Hold on. No, turns out he didn't. But yeah, so yeah, brilliant from Dicky, brilliant from Anwar. Yeah, not much more you can say about that. So here we go then. Dan is about to go down the inside of Alex, and we are now onto the back of our old rival. Good, he's a lovely chap, is Alex, but my God, do I want to beat him so badly. So as soon as I saw this, I thought, oh, here we go. Here we bloody go. Everything's obviously going a lot better in this race than it had done in race number 1, and there we go, down the inside of Alex into Garda. It happened a lot quicker than I had originally anticipated. It didn't quite work out as we went past the back marker, but now Alex knows that it's me behind him, and I know I'm fairly certain that one person he doesn't want to be beaten by is me, or any of the Applewood guys, or and to be fair, anyone. But yeah, definitely. There's not bad blood. It's a very healthy rivalry between myself and Alex. So we're going to stick with this as much as we can, because I know that this is a pretty damn good battle we've got coming in. I've definitely got the chance to gain some more positions. Obviously, the car not quite working for Alex as it would do, as it would otherwise do. He's taking he's very aggressive through the Siamese sweep, but we're not quite able to get onto the back and into Garda. Obviously Alex's focus is Dan at the moment. If he can get down between himself and myself, that will obviously help massively. We have just lost a little bit of time, and they're a very late and aggressive move from Alex there. It hasn't quite worked out on this occasion. We've now got an opportunity to go down the inside of hairpin 1, so it was a late move from Alex on Dan, and that has cost him, as I'm now up into, I think I'm up into 10th at this stage. So we've got that one done. Now obviously it's going to be my focus to get Dan between myself and Alex. If I can do that, I've got a very good chance of beating him in this, a very good chance of beating Alex in this one, which is obviously, that's one of my main aims, certainly for this race, and pretty much any race that I go into, quite frankly. But yeah, again, healthy rivalry, no bad blood. But Dan has got a bit of a lead on us at this stage, and we're sticking. So everything's okay at the moment, and I think we've taken quite a lot more speed through turns 1 and 2 than Dan did. So we're right back onto the back of him there. Really got quite nice and close to his arse through hairpin 1, but he just does get a bit of a better drive out of hairpin 2 than I do, and gets himself a bit of clean air. Although, as you just saw, as similar theme as through turns 1 and 2, he's not gone well through Siamese and Pullman's. Are we going to go down the inside? Yes, we are. It's a bit of a late move, but it's actually worked out to absolute perfection, heading through Garda. That's a lovely move. I love that the late braking moves through Garda are definitely some of my favourite moves to pull on this track. But we are going to go ultra defensive, learning our lesson from fighting with Tim, going aggressively defensive into into turn 1, and also hairpin 1 and hairpin 2 as well. So obviously, having you can't see it from the camera. You would be able to if we had helmet cameras back, but that's not going to happen. We're now going to get onto the back of this back mark. He's had a cheeky look over his shoulder, knowing that he's got some more guys coming his way, and in fact he does the very
gentlemanly thing of getting out of the bloody way. A bit of understeer there through turn 2. Flashbacks to that horrible bit of understeer through that corner in race 1, but it doesn't cost us on this occasion. This car definitely worked an awful lot better than the previous one, and also I would obviously do the endurance in the afternoon as well. That car was crap, so this was the best car of the day by far. I have noticed actually one of the things that's improved a lot from my side for racing is my defensive driving. It's definitely got a lot better and a lot more aggressive. Normally, I'm very much of the opinion that like if you're faster and you get past, then well, there we go. But I've definitely gone more on the lines of no, I'm going to hang on to this position as best I possibly can. And I think being a super heavyweight, you might say that there's no need to fight with them. You're only focused on the guys directly behind in terms of Carolis. Don't need to fight the heavyweights as much as you do, but this does obviously feed into the mindset I'm going to be carrying forward into the heavyweight races coming up. But it looks like there Alex now has got past us. I did think we were running a bit wide through turn 1, and he has got the move done into hairpin 1. So we're now back on the attack, heading through the Siamese sweep now down into Pullman's, getting close through Paddock as well. It looks like Alex just not quite getting it right through there. We're now going to have what is actually probably the easiest move into Garda that we've had to do so far in any of these races, it must be said. See here, we've got Tim Randall and somebody else from the super heavyweights now looking at them heading into Garda. We're not quite, although there goes Tim down the inside. We haven't gone through, but someone who has gone through is Alex, and he's got past this chap in blue as well. He puts the arm up in celebration, and Dan goes through as well, and hesitation with the back markers has cost us, and we're now back to where we began, back in P11, and I was very hesitant. In fact, let's take this move back a little bit, shall we? And let's analyse this more. So at this stage of the at this stage, I'm looking at this thinking, right, there's no way I'm going to be able to get past either of these two into Garda. So let's just try and let's ideally line up into turn 1. But as we come through Paddock, you can see here actually now the lay of the land has changed. This chap, whose name I don't know, has got it all out of sorts, and Tim is he's got what looks like the inside line, but we're still quite far off. And my mindset at this stage is right, we're nowhere near. There's no sign of Tim going for it. Let's hang back. Obviously, at this stage, though, you can see Tim's now going for the move. And now what I should have done is look to follow him through. But for some reason, I don't. I stick to the outside line. And then you can see now the speed these guys are carrying is significantly less. That gets me bogged down behind this chap. And that allows Alex, who has been opportunistic, has gone for it. He gets past me, gets past this back marker, who I then get stuck behind as well. Or he certainly compromises me, and then that allows Dan to go through, and that would unfortunately bring that battle basically to a conclusion. And as you can see there, Alex now going onto the back of Tim. Yeah, that's a part of my racing that I do need to work on. I need to work on look at Dan there, just lunging it down the inside of the back marker. I think what I always worry about in those situations is if you do lunge it on a back marker and they turn in early, you're going to get the penalty for I'm bumping and barging Tim at the moment. Now, if I was to have knocked him out, I'd have got a penalty. That's the thing that I worry about, and that's why I hesitate in my racing, and that's definitely something that I need to work on going forward. But you can see here, that's what this has cost me, is what looks like about 2 seconds between Alex and Dan. Who's this trying to get past me? Is that Gerard Moore? I believe it is. So yeah, I've now been completely compromised by being too hesitant in my racing with the back markers. Gerard, he's got past me, so I'm now going to have to try and deal with him and still keep an eye out for Karts, although I think he is quite a lot further back in my quest for victory in this race. So heading through Paddock now. Oh, going to be able to have a lunge down the inside of Gerard? No, we are not. So we'll stick with this for now. We're not far away from the end of this race. Dan and Alex still massively out in front. I think that battle now, I've got basically no chance coming onto them, although Gerard has now he's done what I did in race number 1. We've got an opportunity to go down the inside into hairpin 1. Great braking from me, it must be said, and we get the move back on Gerard. So nicely done there by me, and there's not much time left in this race, so I've just got to try and do whatever I can to get onto the back of Dan and Alex, and I will take you forward to so as we come on to what will be the final lap, if anything's going to happen, it's going to be here. You can see here Alex immediately jumping to the inside. He's going ultra defensive because he knows if Dan gets past him, obviously that's points lost for him, and that could also bring me back into it. So all he has to do here is take a very nice defensive line, and he should hang on to the position. But this is allowing me to get closer to it. I don't know if you can tell yet, but this would actually go on to be my fastest lap of the race and fastest lap of the day itself, 46.4, and I think I was only a couple of tenths off what the fastest guys would do. But Dan could have had a chance into paddock there, but he just lost it a little bit. And as we come through Garda, the final real overtaking opportunity on the track, all we have to do is put our foot down to the floor, and there's no real opportunity to get past any of them. Alex puts his hand to the air, knowing I'm right behind him, and yeah, there we go. We come home in P11, and here we go then, the respect between myself and Alex. I give him the opportunity to get himself on camera. Thumbs up. Yeah, lovely stuff. So yeah, there we go.
That was my final super heavyweight race in the SP60. I would come home to take the victory and get a lovely golden trophy. I'm really happy they have gone down this route now with these trophies. And that was my final SHW race. The plan for the rest of the season is to just try and keep progressing, learn from stuff that I get wrong, as you saw just then, being more defensive, not being as hesitant as seen with the back markers, and we'll just see what happens going forward. I'd love to get a podium in the heavyweights. It's a little bronze trophy now, and to come home with one of those, I think would mean more than quite a few of the first places that I've had over the years. But yeah, great racing there. Well done to Carolus as well, coming home in second. I think Jamie Garside came home in third for the SHWs, and it was a very great battle with Alex and Dan at the end of that race there. But there we go, a brand new edition of Rich T Racing, keeping in theme with me over all the years I've been doing these videos. It's obviously going to be a lot longer than I had otherwise hoped for, but I think these are the type of videos that I want to be making on the channel, having these chats about like just going more in depth into racing. That's what I love to do, and I'm sure as time goes on I'll learn to refine these a bit more. So again, bear with me on this, but doing this is a lot easier to do than making the long karting commentary videos that I do, and yeah, should mean that they don't take as long to come out anymore, which will make the channel a lot healthier going forward. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching, if you still are, and if for some reason you're still watching and you're not subscribed to the channel, please be sure to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications so that you know when a brand new edition of Rich T Racing comes out. Thank you very much for watching, and all I shall say for now is ta-ta and farewell.